it's Dale here. I'm just carrying on with Kandinsky, so this is my second round, and if you watched the first one you'll remember I was drawing circles and mucking around and also colouring tissue and using spots and circles and things for shapes. One of the things about working this sort of thing is I'm also busy thinking about what I'm going to do with my stitching, which I enjoy probably more, and so I start to divert and muck around. So I'm just going to show you today perhaps the process of not completing but of what I've been doing and where I got to. One of the things I enjoyed most when I came back and looked at it was when I did the stamping with that compressed sponge, and I love the fibrous sort of textures that it gives when it dries. And if you remember, I was working with gesso and I used various stencils and stamps and whatnot on tissue paper, and then I have coloured over a lot of it. But this one here is really good because as a stitcher and a fibre player and all those things, I can see the potential for how I might develop this with my stitching. But just so that's compressed sponge, which is sort of, when you put it into water it expands, and then it's wonderful for stitching with, you know, I've drawn the shape and then cut it out when it's flat. But what I did this time is I'm still thinking about Kandinsky and his circles, and he saw circles as being very significant. They have symbols, and everybody likes to work with circles, and I like to stitch with circles and play with that shape. It's not a shape owned by anybody, but it's a shape, and you can also see that they're not perfect circles, which suits me fine because I'm not into perfect shape. So this is what I've done today. I've used some of my wax crayons and just drawn some circles and coloured them in just to get a bit of shape, and you can see they're not circles, they're different shaped circles. And then I've taken some of my bits and pieces and I've cut out, so I'll show you perhaps how I might work, and then later on you'll see how this grows into something with stitch and fabrics. Now the circles don't have to be complete within, but let's have a look at, say, a circle on there, and perhaps put a little one of these shapes into here in the middle, and how you might build it up, because a lot of people can't always think what they're doing or where, and circles don't have to be complete. So it's a part circle. I was cutting out paper to make circle shapes, but I got into a little bit of a mess, so I've sort of put that on the burner. And you can see I did some circles with gesso and came back. So I would just play around and see where I might put some of these little shapes on shapes, then leave some of my underneath part. And if you have seen the other work that I do, you'll be able to see that this is like layering and building up assorted layers, and how you might put things together. Different ones have worked out well, and I didn't do a lot of see where I might put that one there. I'm going to end up with, but the ones with the spots are really quite good to come back, and I really do like very much so these big ones here. So if I take something like this and put it in the middle, you've still got the colour underneath that provides you with the layers of what you're doing. So it's very much a play session to see where we might take this. I've got some of it, I've got some papers that I was playing with, and then I got diverted and came back to, but of course it's probably a mistake there, that one there, but that's quite good. So just when you think later where they might come to with stitching and how I might use them. Of course, what I might do is not do anything like this, but that's just how I work sometimes. So let's see, we've got another little one here that could build up onto a layer, and layers can just overlap and little circles and shapes. So I'm diverting from what Kandinsky was doing, but that's how it should be. So we've got these going into here, just thinking about what we might do, but having put down that ground, so you could put down ground fabrics first and see what happens then, and put that one see we've got a little one that might just go over the top there, and so on. So I've got this lime green one I found as well, so come down here, pop that underneath there, and maybe put a little top on it. So that's me mucking around just to give you a bit of my processes and come back and see where I get to. I'm much better when I get to the stitching than I am with the playing, but all this playing gets your brain working and thinking about what you might do. So I hope that's given you a few little ideas, and see you again next time. Bye.